Kamusta mga kaibigan? Welcome to Josh Friends, where faith meets friendship and inspiration is just a conversation away. This is Reverend Migs Ramirez, and today we are joined by a special guest who's ready to share some words of wisdom from your favorite books and songs from Jesuit Communications. This might just be exactly what you need to hear. So, sit back, relax, and let's dive into another episode of heartwarming stories and uplifting messages. Are you ready? Let's go!
You know, there's something profoundly moving about reading another Jesuit's diary, especially when it mirrors your own struggles and awakenings in mission. Here I am, preparing to hand over the keys of the Malaybalay Jesuit Retreat House and the Father Leoni Mission Foundation after years of service. And I find myself gripped by the raw and luminous pages of Balik Lantaw, Diary of a Jesuit Missionary by Father Mateo Sanchez of the Society of Jesus. I am Father Bros Flores, and as I tie up loose ends in my different roles in Bukidnon, including as superior of the Bukidnon Mission District, where Father Matt once served the Umayamnon indigenous community in Cabanglasan, I feel a deep resonance with his journey. His words, written nearly 3 decades ago, illuminate truths that transcend time, age, and assignment. In his June 6, 1996 entry, Father Matt wrote, I felt very much encouraged on hearing the work among the Bukidnon Lumad by Father Macaso, Dr. Lafette, the Teresianas, and Father Labajo. I realized I was not alone and that there are people for whom I could learn more on how to go about in my mission work among the indigenous peoples of Bukidnon. End of quote. That line pierced me. Even after years of Jesuit life, there are moments when mission feels isolating. You scroll up through social media. Yes, even I get caught up in reels and stories and feel far from the deeper purpose that once seized your heart. But Father Matt's words remind us we are never truly alone in our calling. There are always companions ahead of us, beside us, and even behind us, cheering us on. What moved me most is Father Matt's honesty, especially about his limitations. Imagine at 63, he struggled to learn Binukid, eventually giving up to his great regret later on. And yet, this same man would lay the groundwork for what would become the Father Leoni Mission Foundation. His imperfect beginnings bore fruit that would endure. In another account, his June 11, 1996 entry, he wrote, I like the place a lot. In fact, I think it will be a good center for me in my Lumad apostolate. I am quite excited by this prospect. Now I can really begin my mission. Thanks, Lord. Reading this, I remember my own early days among indigenous communities, that heady mix of excitement and fear, the weight of unfamiliar terrain, and the growing realization that you are not just serving these communities. They are, in fact, transforming you. Father Matt's entry into the mission wasn't neatly scripted. When he asked Father Leoni, who was already ill with cancer, where to find the Umayamnon, he was told simply, you have to look for them yourself. No handbook, no step by step guide, just an invitation to go and discover. And in that sacred uncertainty, he found evacuees displaced by NPA threats, people longing to return home. He did not wait for perfect conditions. He pressed on, struggling with language, managing a parish, crossing dangerous rivers on horseback, and navigating brutal roads. Because he knew the mission wasn't about having all the answers, it was about presence. For someone who spent years practicing Spanish on Duolingo for greater availability, I understand Father Matt's frustration. But he reminds us that language is more than vocabulary. It's about presence, compassion, and the willingness to learn from the very people you are called to serve. What I treasure most about Balik Lantaw is how unvarnished it is. Father Matt doesn't romanticize mission life. He admits failures. He names regret. He rejoices in small wins, like finally memorizing the Our Father and Hail Mary in Binukid. These humble joys echo what St. Ignatius knew well, that God labors in our imperfect efforts, slowly shaping us through the daily yes we give. As I prepare for my own transition, I carry with me Father Matt's example. He reminds us that mission isn't about heroic solo acts. It's about walking with others, learning from them, and allowing God to shape our faltering steps into something beautiful. So, let us journey together in hope. Journey with us through stories and songs. Explore Father Matt's incredible 14-year mission among the Umayamnon through Balik Lantaw. Available now via Jescom exclusives at jescom.ph/Josh. Let these words illuminate your own path of service, discernment, and discovery. Because whether we are crossing rivers on horseback or scrolling through our phones late at night, we are still called to listen, to learn, to love, and to find God in the beautiful mess of mission life.
Maraming salamat, kaibigan. That wraps up another episode of Josh Friends. I hope today's reading touched your heart and gave you something to reflect on. Remember, you can find the full text of what we shared today, along with many other inspirational resources, at the Jescom online shop. Until next time, this is Reverend Migs Ramirez reminding you that you are never alone on your journey of faith. Paalam at ingat, mga kaibigan!